Anand, many of you will know me as publisher of Navayana. I'm not Charlie. I would rather be Perumal Murugan, the writer who was murdered recently in Tamil Nadu. I'd rather be N.D. Rajkumar, the brilliant Tamil Dalit poet who was silenced a few weeks ago at a Sahitya Academy event in Nagarkoil, and it made no difference to anyone in the world. I might rather be Ali Cobby Eckermann, who represents to me the voice of the stolen generations of Australia, the stolen generations whose voices, identities, and histories were erased and sought to be exterminated by the white world. Perhaps ask Baviskar to join us later. She's here. Dr. Baviskar is an associate professor of sociology at the Institute of Economic Growth in Delhi, the co-editor of India's flagship sociology.
Way. Nailu ini alinya Cobby Eckermann. Nailu ini Yankunytjatjara. As part of my cultural protocol, I would like to acknowledge the Indigenous people of this land, and I wanted to play the clapsticks tonight in respect of the story that I'm going to be telling, because it's a family story, but most of these family warriors that I'm talking about have passed away. Kurumpa wea palacha, walacha kutchu, kana kulumpa, nananina, walacha anka. Kana pulkarinkula, nailo wati katini, na ku walacha. Nailo wachi pa kulani, nailo wachi larini, walachiku. Wama chikara, nailo reverse, chachamilani, na ku walacha. Munu nailo ilura, nailo chungani, naiko walachichuda. Kurumpa wea palacha, walachakuchu. I would like to thank Anand for this remarkable invitation to speak here tonight, and also the Australia Council for the Arts, who are one of the main sponsors for my attendance at the literary festivals in Kolkata and Jaipur. I must mention that this is an Aboriginal lecture tonight, both in form and content. So the journey of my lecture will be circular, not linear. Might have the first slide. Anagal is the Aboriginal term given to the traditional custodians of a vast area of land in northwest South Australia. My family is Anagal. We are Yankunytjatjara people from the desert of Australia, and this is part of our story. Since the concept of creation, what we call Jukapa, my family has belonged to a vast tract of land. It is a land of vast beauty and mystery, a remote country filled with sacred sites and responsibility. At a glance, some outsiders may consider this place uninhabitable, but it is our Garden of Eden, our university of ancient knowledges, our hospital, our food source, and essentially our belonging place. In Aboriginal culture, we do not own the land. We belong to the land. The land does not belong to us. The land is our heart. When my grandmother was a young girl, the family walked from Indokna in the north to Aldia, south of Maralinga. They followed an ancient path, a string of 27 waterholes, over a journey of nearly 1,000 miles. This was a well-known route for Anagal, for trade and ceremony. Sleeping out under the stars, they had all they needed. The land provided them sustenance and shelter. It was at Aldia where my mother and her siblings were born. She was birthed traditional way out bush, her early years spent naked with our tribe, safe in the bosom of our family. But it was also a time of change. The railway land that crossed Australia from east to west cut through our land. Missionaries had arrived, bringing Christianity and a new reliance on rationed food, denouncing the ancient ways. Anthropologists were arriving to capture remnants of our ancient knowledges, and government officials gave themselves the power